Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through today of a journal I recreated from an 1894 book of prose and poetry and readings suitable for recitals. It is titled The Peerless Recital or Popular Program. And this book was such a pleasure to make. Such a pleasure. And it's so beautiful. It's 127 years old. It's very old. You're going to see it needed quite a bit of strengthening. I won't claim that I restored it, but what I did was I made it strong again. So it will be good for many, many more years to be someone's journal or whatever it is that they envision it to become. Let's measure it and see how big it is. So it's 6 inches wide. It is 8¼ inches long. Now this is a big book. Let's measure back here. Hold on, let's close you. It has it's 2 inches thick, 2-inch spine. Has 9 signatures. And if you're new to book terminology, a signature is a little bundle of papers that get sewn in to the book spine. Each one is called a signature. So this book has 9. I hand bound it using what's called a hidden hollow back method. So it is open through there, and that allows it to open wide for writing and close nicely. These are cheesecloth strings that were used in fortifying this poor old 127-year-old spine. Now, some people don't like that, and it's very simple for you to take a little pair of tiny scissors and just snip those off. I rather like them, so I left them on, and I left them up to you. But you'll also see that there's a little bit of lace at the head and also at the foot of the spine. She has been cleaned. I've been affectionately calling her Tallulah. She has been cleaned. Apparently, at some point, this book was actually sort of a powder blue color. So this book was well used, well loved, and I could tell by the pages inside that there were many recitals that this book was used for, which warms my heart. And but I cleaned it up as best I could, and then I sealed it so that it is it's very usable, but it's quite evident. It's a very old book. You're going to see little cracks and splits here. I fortified it from the inside out. So you're going to see actually through those cracks the fabric that I used to fortify it, because I put the fabric in inside out so that as I suspect these shoulders will continue to start trying to disintegrate over the next 100 years. And this is the fabric that's inside. I'm actually going to send a little home with whoever is the new owner. Maybe they want to play with some and put it into the book, and who knows, make some little tabs or tags or that. So this little swatch will be going with Miss Tallulah to her new home. In addition, I guess maybe I should just say now, hold on, here's a little tab that's holding it all together, which will be going with it, and a little honeybee ribbon snippet. And then this was also in the book. It was an original certificate in the front, and the new owner, or the old owner, pardon me, had left it blank. And I love where it says for the 1800s to fill it in. So that just shows you how old this book really is, and it's so beautiful. And I couldn't bring myself to me being the one who chose what this becomes. So the new owner will get to decide what this presentation certificate eventually becomes. Here is one of the end papers. This was what the original end papers looked like. It's so beautiful. And I'm including that. That would be lovely for collaging with. And so that will be going along. I used quite a few of the black and white photos. There were a lot of photos, black and white and colored black and white. So they're not color photos. They've had ink layered over it. So I've included the ones that I ended up not using because I thought you might have fun with them. And then I've also included some extra pages just for fun, for making tags or anything that you wish to use. I do my best. I want to explain something that's very important with very old books. Society was not as kind to each other back then. I do my very best to read through the pages that I use and the pages that I send to ensure that they're appropriate. If by chance there is something I have missed, please do as I do and discard them. Society has no place for that anymore. And but I will apologize if there is anything that I have missed. I read through as best I can and make sure that I don't use anything that we now know. You know, our ancestors, I guess, were doing as best they could. I won't go down that route, but I just wanted to reassure you, I do my very best. If you find anything that's not to your liking, please just take it out or cover it up or collage over it. Very simple to do. So let's put this aside and let's take a look inside. Tallulah has 228 pages. That means both sides. So there are varying sizes. Most are full size. Many are smaller and offset. You'll see when we get there. This is the first book that I've put in a full end papers on front and back, and I just love how that turned out. And this actually would give you a lot of space for collaging if you so chose. Here's the original first page, which I love. And I loved the red ink that they used, so I added some red roses that were from vintage wrapping paper just here and left this for you to write on. This page I had to insert it safely so that you could see on the back that this really is from 1894. Although I've had a lot of fun making this cascading collage along the edge here, which I just think is so gorgeous, and I had so much fun working on this. A lot of vintage and old laces in here. You're going to see that there's still a lot of room for writing or whatever it is you wish to do in this book. I tried to have my fun on the pages that already had printing or writing on it. So let's take a look. Some stationery, it's embossed, so it really feels nice. You can see the shapes of the flowers on it. Every single signature has at least one page from the original text block. She's from the original text block. I made a tuck spot out of her. She looked like she was gazing up towards something, so I put this little Victorian ephemera of a little bird flying above. And this was the original saying that was underneath the picture of her. And there's just a little bit of tea-dyed paper in there to show you that you can tuck whatever you like in there. This is some bullet paper. Any paper in here that's tea-dyed, I tea-dyed it. I guess this would be a good time to let you know this is all from thrifted sources. So except for the glue, except for the thread, and there's a little bit of washi tape in here. Everything else I have hunted down through rummage sales, garage sales, church sales, thrift stores, charity shops, estate sales, antique shops. If somebody else previously owned it and loved it, it's in this book. Everything. Here I have sewn in a little envelope, and inside is a tiny little vintage birthday card. So I've tucked that in there and sewed it with a zigzag stitch. Here you go. Thank you. And then I also tucked a little tag back here. She was from she was an original photo from the text block. I just add a little tab there, and there's room for journaling on the back. I did a little bit of collaging here on this edge. Tons of room for writing. A little collaging here on this original page. And then again, just lots of little writing places here and there. This is really nice paper that I love. It was called resume paper, and I found like half a package of it at one of my thrift stores one day. I love this torn edge on it. Again, from the original text block. This is from some stationery that I tea-dyed. A little collaging I did. The edging here is vintage wrapping paper, and then there's some little vintage laces here and tickets and a fussy cut flower. This is just a little tuck spot here that I sewed on. I left all the threads long for any sewing that I did. If you don't like them, you can trim them off. This is from the original text block as well, showing what to do if you want to convey various emotions. I liked this, and I loved that it was red ink. More of that vintage wrapping paper. Here's where you can see I've used a little bit of washi to fortify some of the folds. Little collaging I had fun with. She was from the original text block, and I think she looks lovely with that flower behind her. It reminded me of her dress. And then just a little snippet from an old magazine. Another collage here using one of the photos from the original text block, and I've included the original caption that was underneath it. And I thought she needed a dramatic flower because she looked rather dramatic. More vintage stationery, more tea-dyed paper. This is from a butterfly book, Butterflies of Great Britain. All the laces, again, second-hand. Many are vintage, some are antique. Made a little paper fluff or ruffle out of that vintage wrapping paper and sewed it on. She is also from an original colored photo from the book, and I created her into a tuck spot. Here's one of the first page edge collages that I created. I wanted the collaging that I did in this book, first of all, to go along the edge to give you the rest of the page to write in, but I also wanted it sticking out over the edge so that it gave the impression that this book was jam-packed full of memories. And when I could, I included little journaling cards that I just tucked in. And you can put them wherever you like, but you'll see that some of these collage sides or edgings have a color theme. So obviously this is the yellow collage. There's a little bead on a bulb pin up there, vintage measuring tape, more stationery. I used quite a few sheets of vintage stationery. A little flip out here. I made a pocket here from a 1925 booklet of a play. I think it was Red Pony Farm, but I liked this top that said Rural Plays because, of course, the book has a recital sort of play theme, and I thought that fit. And the original owner's signature is up there. And it's just a little tucky pocket spot. She's from also from the original text block. Put a little tab on there, and you can journal on the back. More stationery. A book from a rose book from the 1950s. This is the very center of the book. I love putting in a guest book spread in the center of books, and usually I love having fun with it. I left it bare for you because it's so much fun to play with these. The paper's nice and thick, and it can take a lot of collaging or whatever it is you want to do with it. Another tip out here, more from the rose book. Another little tuck spot that I created from one of the original photos that was in the book. If you want to use this, these are quite simple to just run a little blade underneath and pop that off and use her for something. She has been backed, so you could do that if you felt like you didn't want a pocket there, but you wanted to use her. Take her apart. If there's a little tear on the paper down there, run some pretty paper along there, do a little collaging to cover it up. That's the fun of a junk journal. Nothing's cast in stone. Again, oh, there we go. We gotta take you out. I missed one of my little signature notes. Lots of journaling space for you. So this is my my blue collage that I did with calendar from 1901. She is from the original text block. I love this bird ribbon running along the edge, and there's a little glass bead down here that I tied on with some blue baker's twine. And then there's a little bird over here on the other side of the 1901 calendar. I like how that one turned out. More stationery. This is a page from a reprint of a 1908 Sears Roebuck catalog. Now here is an actual vintage birthday card, birthday greetings to a dear niece. I love the colors on this. And what I did was I glued along the bottoms of both sides so that it's a tuck spot. This is just a tea-dyed card, and I put a little image of a rusty key on there, but you can put whatever you want in this little pocket. I just want you to see what you can do with it. And inside you'll see this actually was given to someone, and it was in 1953 for someone named Shirley, and it was from her Uncle Abner and her Auntie Jean and the rest of the family. I made a tag out of this original photo, and you can journal on the back, and I added some tea-dyed seam binding there. And again, this doesn't have to stay in this pocket. These are always just suggestions. I love when they used to put a little detail on the back of cards. Another tip out here. And again, just lots and lots of writing room. Very pretty. This is the brown page of collaging that I did. He's from the original text block, and this was the chapter on humorous writings and readings, and the first page is about a gentleman named Barney O'Lynn. So I imagined that he looked like he must be Barney. And I added a few other little fun things, and then again there's some little journaling cards that are actually loose, and you can pull them out and write on the back. And since Barney is Irish, I chose March for St. Patrick's Day. So those go there. And again, they're flooding over the edge on purpose so that when the book is closed, it looks jam-packed full of fun things. Here's a little cologne, sample that you used to get at drugstores. This is a scanned image, and the reason it's scanned is my mother has the original that was tucked into my great-great-grandmother's Bible, and but it's so beautiful, and it's kind of personal to me because obviously for whatever reason my great-great-grandmother Annie Dorsey chose to save it and tucked it in her Bible. So that's what that is. Just some tea-dyed paper behind there. More vintage stationery. This is a tip out. I sewed on a little tag of paper there, and I found this picture of this couple looking very dramatic. So I wrote "cheese," or I put a word snippet of "cheese" underneath them, just for fun. The laces, for the most part, are all sewn on. Again, with the threads left long. It's a big book. Here's my lavender collage that I did along this side. So there's a little ribbon, These stickers here are from the 1940s. They are genuine. This is this is a genuine dry cleaning tag. It's off my husband's dry cleaning. And then this little tag is loose and you can write on the back and it just goes in there. But if you don't want it in there, that's the nice thing. The collage still looks nice and you can put this somewhere else if you want. You don't have to leave it in there. And then I added a little more collaging on the back here with this young lady getting ready to go out for the evening. And I add a little fan that looks like she's holding a little fan. I thought that turned out pretty. This is from a 1985, I believe, date book. Here's a little tuck spot that I hid in behind here. And this not necessarily happy couple were from the original text block. And he's offering her some flowers. And so I backed them with a postcard and made it into a little tuck spot. And inside the envelope here is actually, this is a flower card that you would get from a florist shop when you send flowers. So I just tucked that in there. I like when journals have little secret hiding places. Another just tiny little bit of collaging. And here, that can also be a tuck spot. And tip out here. More of that stationery that I love that's embossed. Here's the green collaging that I did. I love how this one turned out. It says Cinderella here, so I thought she looked very much like she was ready to go to a ball. And there's a little leaf here from some a silk plant my mother had, and a little bird. And this is the tuck spot, so this is loose. And you can journal on the back. There's a little angel there, and that just tucks right in there. And then again, purposefully hanging over the edge. On this side is a big pocket, a nice big sturdy pocket. I backed it. This is actually a vintage can label for fruit that I received in Happy Mail from my friend over at Wishes and Weaves. So I put a bit of tea-dyed paper in there so that you know that that's a nice big useful pocket. I love big pockets at the beginnings and ends. And speaking of the end, here we come to the end of this journal, and then these beautiful end papers again that match the front. I just love how this book turned out. I really took my time and relaxed and enjoyed every page turn of creating this. And this is exactly what I had envisioned for it. All these little pieces hanging out, little ribbons hanging out, so it looks like already there's a lifetime of memories inside here, and it actually just has begun. If you're interested in this book, it will be available in my Etsy shop later on today, as soon as I can set it up over there. So I hope you'll go over and take a look and see if maybe this is the journal for you. It will have free shipping within North America. So within Canada and the continental United States, this will ship for free. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the little visit through Miss Tallulah here. Have a great day. Bye.